Welcome to What Matters Most.
We are dedicated to educating the community about holistic, metaphysical, and spiritual topics.
Each week, we discuss things that matter most in life, the things that are most important to you that may have fallen to the wayside.
We are always centered on the idea of simplifying life, connecting with our neighbors, and following our true paths.
Our mission is to empower you to live the life that you've always dreamed of living.
We invite you to focus your life on what matters most.
Welcome to What Matters Most. This is Kristen.
Hey, and this is Maria.
From Experienced Nirvana, and today we will be speaking about connecting with people and their animals. Later on in the show we'll have Emerald DuCoeur speaking with us. She is the professional of and the all-knowing of communicating with animals, whether their loved ones are living or deceased.
Yeah, the near and dear topic to me. I have to say that we were very fortunate, or I should say I was very fortunate, because Emerald did share a little bit of her time in helping out with a specific example of a situation that I was having a bit of a personality challenge with one of my cats.
And we can go on later in the show.
Yeah, we'll explain that a little bit later on in the show and go into more detail with that. But it's always been very interesting to me to realize, or I kind of questioned what was kind of going on behind the scenes with our animal friends, with our pets. Some, for example, because I know, being that I now have 5 cats, I feel like some of them to me are like truly like just cats, and other pets that I have, I feel like have more in-depth personality traits, and I feel like they're more people-oriented. However,
some of your cats you just feel like are cats?
I do.
Which ones?
I actually feel more so Moe. Maybe because she's such a recluse. I don't ever really get an opportunity to kind of get to know her personality or what she's all about. I don't know, I'm a person that, cats are kind of a relatively new area for me, because I was always a person that had dogs, and
Even though you hated dogs.
You know what? I love dogs, but I found that I really connect with small dogs. I love smaller dogs. I like a dog that I can pick up and carry
Which
around.
is a cat.
That doesn't bark.
That doesn't bark.
That meows. That's the kind of dog I like. No. I've had small dogs, and I've liked them. I've been very close to my small dogs. The bigger dogs.
Yappers.
No, the bigger dogs I have a difficulty connecting with, only because of the largeness. To me, part of the connection with a pet is being able to have it on your lap and hug it and carry it. I know,
like a baby.
Like a baby.
Maybe you should just have another baby.
Yeah, right.
Maybe that would solve your problem.
That's right. Like my Schnauzer. I had a Schnauzer before you were born. I had a Schnauzer. And I remember everybody used to say, my goodness, this dog is like a baby. I love that dog. Oh, that dog's name was Ebony. I love that dog.
Well.
And I actually felt that she had a lot of traits. In fact, I ended up having to give her away right after you were born, and I was devastated by that. And so at that point in time when that happened, there was no such thing as, I didn't know of anything like a pet communicator. I wish I had, because I used to call up the shelter like every day to make sure that, like, find out if she was still there. I was so worried about her.
Oh, what happened to her?
She finally got adopted out, or they told me that she did. After so many...
Probably just killed her in the back.
Oh my God! Don't say that.
I'm just joshing with you.
But she was such a sweetie. So I wish I had I wish I was at a place where I could intuitively kind of have done that connection with her, or maybe even had known as somebody like Emerald, which would have been really wonderful. But I guess I didn't realize that all of the pets actually have the we can communicate with all of them, and they have these interesting little personalities and they're family members, really. They really, I never actually kind of thought about it that way, but I guess they are in the household, and they...
You never thought about it like that?
Chester I always thought of like that. But not necessarily all of them. And I didn't
I've
realize that
always thought
sometimes
that.
it's hard to get, sometimes you have problems with some of your family members.
Sometimes many of your family members.
Sometimes more than one. That's right. And then that one can cause problems with other family members. And that can happen with the pets, too.
Oh, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Well, even my cats, I have 2 cats, but the one is very reclusive. Her name is Luna, and she hides and she sticks to herself. And the other one is Chester. Chester. Now I have Chester.
Everybody's
Eddie
got
has
a Chester.
No, my other cat's name is Chai, like a chai latte. And he's a little sweetie pie. And he's like a baby.
He's a lovey-dovey.
He's really lovey-dovey. And he's really good with the baby, too.
Yeah.
She crawls all over him, and he doesn't do anything to her. So I think it just depends. It's like the different animals in your home are like the different members in your house. Everybody has their own personality.
Do you feel you're learning something do you feel there's a lesson to be learned from any of your pets? Have you experienced any of that?
No.
Really. So the lessons to be learned from your pets, I hope that people that are listening to this show will be reflecting to them on that and thinking about their own situations and learning so much from Emerald, who is such a font of information in this particular category.
So stay tuned. We've got Emerald DuCoeur coming up next. Should be a lovely segment with her.
And you're listening to What Matters Most.
And we'll be right back. And back with What Matters Most. We're here with Emerald DuCoeur. Emerald has done more than 7,000 consultations with people and the animals they love in the United States, Canada, and Europe. She's been interviewed as a pet psychic on the Fox television network and an NPR affiliate, featured in numerous newspaper articles, and donated her consultation services to many animal sanctuaries and rescue organizations. Emerald also enjoys speaking about the wonders of intuitive animal communication and teaches classes to all people who wish to revive and refine their ability to talk with the animals. Welcome, Emerald.
Hey, welcome, Emerald.
Thank you so much, Marianne Kristen.
Well, Emerald, let's start out because this is interesting how you, I always wondered how you actually got into this area that you're involved in. And from reading some of your background information, it seems as it started with the loss of your dog, Trajan. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Trajan was my first, one of my first dogs as an adult. And I, of course, like everyone, loved him beyond words. When he passed on, it was unexpected, and I was devastated, like as we are. And my ex-husband and I contacted an animal communicator, and when we did, I felt better. And also at that very time, I knew that I wanted to be an animal communicator. It was all close to instantaneous. And so after his passing, it got me on this path and comforted me. So it was a wonderful thing. And then, of course, the other 2 dogs that I had with Trajan helped me, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, so in other words, you never did any. I was always thinking that maybe you were doing this pet communication on a level that you weren't even kind of aware of before this, but it sounds like this whole experience with the passing of your dog opened up the doors and suddenly sparked this interest and made you realize, oh, this is the path that I'm supposed to be following.
You're so intuitive. That is right. When I look back, of course, like everyone who does this, I go, oh yeah, that's right. I was communicating. That was an intuitive conversation. Also, even before this, people would ask me about their animals. I just didn't know how to focus and control it. Sometimes if someone asked me about their cat, I'm thinking of an instance, I said, I'd be happy to talk with your cat, but I don't know when the information's coming in. And so the information might come in a week, an hour, I never knew.
Oh, this is before your training, in other words, before you actually started. Okay.
So yes, I still did communication, but it's almost as though I wasn't united up in my brain.
And it's funny that you actually doubted yourself or didn't realize that you actually had the ability inside you to do this, and you actually saw another person to do that. And yet that was really amazing to me when I read that on your site, because I thought, oh my goodness, this woman is like the animal communicator. I could not imagine you ever being at a point of going to someone else.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, it's just like with people, when you're talking with your own family,
Hmm.
it's always good to have someone
Yeah.
else's take on it. Um, uh, yeah, no, I consult with my students sometimes,
Hmm.
with the ones that are particularly interested. If I have lost animals, I'm always looking for help.
Yeah.
Is about the animals actually, not about not about me or anybody else.
Well, I think sometimes too, when it's a situation of something so near and dear to your heart,
Mhm.
it's always nice to be able to bounce that off of somebody else too.
Emerald, so the experience that you have of that when you do communicate with the animals, is that almost as if you're communicate psychics who communicate with people who have crossed or with
Oh,
other spirits? Is it the same sort of thing? Like you're actually hearing that voice in your head almost as if it was any spirit? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I don't really find any difference. I do speak with animals and people who have passed over. For me, not too much difference. Of course, people might be more verbal, and of course, I'm the same species,
Sure.
so
Sure.
there is a slight difference. But in the feelings and the depth, the complexity of the communication, no difference.
Gotcha. Okay.
wow. That's so let's start out with, I have a question, and I noticed that one of the people on your site had mentioned something specific to the Amazon forest movie, and we actually cued into that. We listened to that for a
We
brief.
s- we we saw a few moments of it.
Yeah. So tell us about how that seemed to have a major impact on the well-being. I believe it was of a cat, right?
Um, I think it was Chihuahua.
Oh, really? Okay.
There might have been another reference, but the one I'm thinking of was a Chihuahua, and yes, it was quite coincidental. And tell me again, Maria, how you're thinking about it. I'm not sure about.
I think it seems to be okay. It seems to me as if the person, it was in the accolades section, and it was somebody had mentioned, I believe that you had suggested that they show this movie to whichever pet it was. It might have been a cat or a dog, whatever, and that somehow that created such a change or transformation in the pet. And so I was
I think we're just trying to find the
yeah,
significance of this movie. What is
right,
what is
because
the what
maybe
is
other
the
people wanted to use that movie too.
Oh, I see. Well, it was rather specific. What I did is a spiritual journey for that dog, a
Oh.
beautiful little dog. And in that journey, there was a lot about the Amazon rainforest. So I suggested that the woman it was a Chihuahua with heart failure. And I suggested that she
Wow.
run the movie and put vivid things around this beautiful little dog to make the dog happy and facilitate healing, either in in the present or in the future.
Sure.
The woman resonated with it tremendously,
Yeah.
and the dog was more comfortable.
Okay. So it was very specific.
Very
Wow. And
specific.
where did you find that movie? I mean, I've never heard of it. Is
Um,
it like a known healing video?
I believe that she found it after the dog's name was Lucy. Lucy, I believe. After Lucy expressed this love
Ah,
of the rainforest.
Gotcha.
interesting.
All right. Well, you know what? We do have to go to a quick break, but you're listening to What Matters Most, and we will be right